Hello everyone. We bet almost every one of you has travelled on a plane or at least has wanted to. And have you ever thought where your your excrement goes after you do your business in the plane toilet? Oh, sorry, we got distracted a little. So, you probably have some questions that really intrigue you, but you have no answer to them. It's like you want to show off in front of your parents or friends, but you have nothing to say. But wait, if there's a question, then there must be an answer, right? Somewhere deep in the internet. Especially for you, we went through a lot of different information and picked out the most interesting questions. Only a few know the answers to them, but we will gladly share them with you. We promise it's going to be really interesting, and after you watch the video, you'll have something to puzzle your friends with. Let's get it on. Can you take a bulb out of your mouth by yourself? We think many will definitely answer no to this question. However, there are still some crazy adrenaline junkies ready to check this fact, maybe for a dare or while being drunk. Of course, there are gifted people in this world, and some can even take a bulb out of their mouth by themselves, but these are very rare people. The rest of the checkers are doomed to get mocked by their friends and to become YouTube stars. But let's talk about the most important issue. Why do all these people put a bulb in their mouth so boldly? Well, the reason is in the tricky shape of this glass object, which allows you to place it wherever you want. But when it comes to taking it out, there's a little problem. The wide part butts against your teeth, and if you keep trying to force it out, it'll break right inside your mouth, and that leads to mucosa injury, lots of blood and pain. Why does anyone need that? Besides, any huge foreign object in your mouth makes your jaws strain and contract. Plus, if you're nervous, the amount of adrenaline in your blood increases and the fear doesn't let you relax your muscles. So in case you're thinking about trying this experiment on yourself, we warn you, there's nothing good in it, and most likely you'll have to run to the doctor. How much fat do you need to become bulletproof? We're not sure why, but for some reason we thought it would be really exciting to find an answer to this question. Just imagine this, you are a life shield that can protect not only yourself but also some of your loved ones just by standing in front of them. Awesome, right? So let's do some maths and find out how fat you have to be if you don't want to be afraid of a gun attack. If a 6-foot tall person that weighs 180 pounds gets shot by a 9mm gun from a distance of 16 feet, that person will need about a foot of fat to protect the vitally important organs. Now, using the special MsSh formula and knowing the density of fat, we're going to get the mass of the needed substance. We won't go into details of our calculation, you've probably had enough of that at university. If you want to know the exact results of your parameters, you can Google up the formula we're using right now and you'll get your answer. So, back to our fat. Turns out that the person we were talking about would have to obtain 1,217 pounds of fat in order to become bulletproof. Now imagine how many snacks and sweets you'll get to eat to do that. What happens if you swallow a needle? First of all, we warn you that you shouldn't do it, but sometimes curiosity wins over the most reasonable of us. We can't be 100% sure what exactly happens if you do that, so we offer you a few scenarios for the consequences of such an incident. The worst option is if the needle gets into a lung or the heart and makes a hole. Without surgery, this wound will most likely lead to death. Now, of course, the Grim Reaper won't come for the victim immediately, but we know for sure that the inflammation caused by the needle will result in losing a part of the lung. The X-ray can locate the steel object really quickly, so if you think you might have eaten something bad, hurry up and call 911. By the way, there is another possible outcome for this ridiculous incident. If somehow the needle manages to go into the stomach, there's an 80% chance you'll get to flush the needle down the toilet. But my dear friends, you shouldn't get your hopes that high, since there's still 20% of you who won't be so lucky. What will happen to a human without a spacesuit on Mars? Hey, we know some of you have been dreaming about going to the Red Planet to search for little green people or some other forms of life. Are we right? Then we're here to warn you. If someday you are really on Mars and suddenly you feel kind of soggy, be strong and don't try to take off your spacesuit. We know it might sound silly, but we just really worry about you. On this planet, the water starts boiling at a temperature of about 0.5 degrees C, which is quite lower than the temperature of the human body. It means that if you're on Mars without a solid spacesuit, your blood will immediately start boiling. There won't be any bloody horror movie scenes though, because this process will be stopped by excessive pressure in the body tissues stretched by gas. So we think you can already guess how this can end. So follow the advice of your grannies and wrap up well for this journey, since the medium temperature on Mars is about 40 degrees C below zero. Why does orange juice taste so acidy after you brush your teeth? Many of you may know that eating or drinking immediately after you brush your teeth isn't the best thing in the world. The toothpaste can make even the most delicious meal taste like shit. Want to feel the most disgusting taste on earth? Try brushing your teeth and then immediately drinking a glass of orange juice in one gulp. And don't forget to put a bucket somewhere near, because you'll probably want to spit it out right away. Turns out that this weird taste appears thanks to a foaming agent used in most toothpastes. Sodium lauryl sulfate subtilizes your taste buds responsible for sweets. It means that orange juice or anything else you drink or eat after brushing your teeth won't taste sweet at all, even if it does contain tons of sugar. Besides, this element destroys phospholipids, which usually prevent bitter food from being too bitter. So the toothpaste not only reduces the sweetness of orange juice, but it also increases its bitterness. Well, if you don't want to hate your favorite sweets, we recommend you to start for a few minutes after these hygienic procedures. Why are tongue twisters so hard to pronounce? Now, repeat after me. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled. Sorry, I'm afraid this tongue twister did twist my tongue. By the way, when you try to improve your speaking skills this way, your tongue is the least guilty of your mistakes. And did you know that tongue twisters are really hard to write too? An average person takes 1.5 times longer to write "Betty Botter had some butter" than some normal sentence with the same amount of letters. And the one to blame is actually our brain. When hearing a sequence of similar sounds, the brain tries to figure out how to pronounce all of them. Because they're so alike, our brain gets confused, so the neurons start passing wrong impulses. This is also the reason why you can't pronounce all tongue twisters once you've mastered one of them. Your poor brain has to fix neural connections every time, all over again. Why can't you see in the dark?
Who's there?
We don't think your cat would be happy to lend you its eyes, but there's no other way to be able to see in the dark. The thing is, the human retina, just as the retina of other mammals, consists of two types of formations: cones, responsible for the shapes and the colors, and rods, responsible for the so-called mesopic vision. Their ratio is 1:4, while for cats this parameter is 1:25. It's impossible to change it in the human retina, but if you still envy the superpower of your cat, try to eat more carrots. It contains carotene, which improves night vision. We believe this diet will make you able to find a black cat in a dark room, even if it's not there. Do animals snore? If your family keeps yelling at you every morning because of your snoring, you can blame it on your pets if you have any. Of course, you can't pull that off if you have a little fish or a turtle, because they simply can't make these sounds. However, if you have a dog, that's perfect. But be careful. The ability to snore depends on the race and the age of your dog. Short-nosed dogs like bulldogs and pugs tend to snore when they're young and old, due to a specific constitution of their jaws and nasopharynx. Midi-nosed dogs like German Shepherds and Rottweilers begin to snore only when they're old. By the way, this problem affects cats too. They can snore because their tongue is sinking into the mouth. And there's more. Almost all the mammals that have sniffles can bother your sleep. So if your little pet snores louder than you, cover it with a pillow before it wakes up everyone in the house.